Sandra Groh is the founder and CEO of respiratory technology startup RespirAq, which has been spun out of the Auckland University of Technology. And she joins us now. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Fiona. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you tell us how the idea for this innovative technology evolved?
Yeah, definitely. So this is the main result of my PhD. So I started a PhD in 2014, and this technology, or the core technology, was the main outcome of this research, which we finalized in 2018. And from that, we evolved, so mainly just an idea or a patent to mainly a product.
Can you talk a little bit about how it works, the smart fabric in particular?
Yes, definitely. So the main idea, just to give you a bit of a context on how this product is or how it acts. So the current humidification technologies are mainly a water bucket on a hot plate. So we decided to evolve this a little bit and make it more portable and smaller for certain kind of patients. So what we designed is a smart fabric that captures the humidity when the patient exhales, and then it releases back when the patient inhales. So it's kind of using your own humidity, as well as using that we don't need external water, the addition of external water. So it's a very small and portable filter.
You're an engineer and this is your first company. How daunting has it been turning into a business person?
Well, so as I mentioned, this is the outcome of my PhD. So becoming a business person wasn't the main idea, or wasn't how I thought my career would go. But this was a great opportunity that also you can, with the COVID and the global pandemic that we had, we found a very unique application. And we found that this technology could help a lot respiratory patients as well as the staff because of the simple or the easy of use of the product. So we decided to commercialize this product. And if we wanted to do it, I knew that I had to move full-time focusing on this technology. So I started to learn skills, business skills that I didn't have before, because as you mentioned, I'm a chemical engineer. So it was a process, a learning process, as we were building this company. And we are very, this company, we founded in January this year. So it's a very young company.
What's been your biggest hurdle so far, or the thing you found hardest to deal with?
It was, as I mentioned, like a learning process for me. So over the last year, securing the funding was challenging, but as well, because this technology is based on a patent, unique patent technology. Even that I was the inventor, the technology belongs to the university. So we had to negotiate IP agreements with the university and move forward. So that was a bit challenging, but as I'm mentioning, it's the first time I was doing this, as well as learning as we were doing, but successfully done. I'm very happy for that.
You mentioned fundraising, so you have raised 1.5 million to date. How did you find that process?
It was because the technology was very clear. It wasn't just a technology coming out of the university. So we had some clinical data, clinical results. So we finalized the first inpatient clinical trials last year as well. So we had very specific results, as well as go-to-market applications. So it wasn't just a technology coming out from the university. It was very well evolved through AUT Ventures in our case. So it was over the last year, like we were acting as a company inside the university mainly. So it wasn't that challenging. It was quite specific. So we were lucky, like our main investors are Outside Ventures. Happy that they trust with us with this technology. So they lead the round, and then in 3 months we reach the 1.5 million that we were targeting.
What sort of runway did that give you? How long will it last?
We think that we're gonna last like the next around 18 to 24 months.
So it gives you a bit of a breather
Yes.
in between to do more on the product. Is that what you're doing now? What sort of stage are you at?
We are preparing all the documentation for regulation. So we need to submit an FDA and CE mark to entry our main two markets, which is Europe and US. So at the moment, we are preparing all the documentation and results and designing the trials that we have to do, either bench test or if we need any other clinical trials. And this is the runway that, like, this is the funding that we need for.
So where are you doing the
milestone.
clinical trials? What have you made a decision around that yet?
Not yet, and that is going to depend on we're waiting for the response from FDA mainly, so it's kind of a talking process. Our main markets, as I mentioned, is US and Europe, so if we have to do a clinical trial, we assume that it's going to be US, Europe, and probably a couple more countries. If we don't need a clinical trial either for specific data, we do need to do a clinical trial mainly for marketing and to convince that this product is working in the specific environment. So either way, the clinical trials will be done in US, Europe for sure, probably in other countries.
Do you have a mentor or someone that you can talk, or someone that you can talk to about issues as they arise in the business?
Yes. So we were lucky over the last year. I was selected for the KiwiNet spin-out program, and that was perfect in my case, I have to say, because they give me more in particular the help and the skill and the guidance that I needed over this period for the fundraising, and so they provide specific people that I could talk to, as well as a mentor. So my mentor was Paul Dyson. He's an expert in the field. He's been working for many years for ResMed, setting up the business in the Middle East. So an expert in this field. So he was mentoring me through the whole process, as well as the guidance in the business. And he's actually involved in the company at the moment. So I'm very happy.
How much difference does it make having someone like that who's been there and done it before to give you a guiding hand?
I think it's necessary, at least in my case, because as I mentioned, I don't have a business experience. And he was guiding through everything, either more technical questions, as well as picking up the phone, like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it's
the
necessary
3 in the morning,
to have,
oh no.
It's like, are we doing this in the right way? How do we set a bank account? I mean, easy questions like that. I didn't know how to do it. So it's guiding on what is priorities and what are the steps to follow.
You're from Spain and you're currently in Spain, talking to us from there. How did you end up in New Zealand?
Oh, well, I finished I started in Spain. I studied my undergrad here in Spain, and then I moved to Belgium. I studied my master in Belgium. And then after my master, I decided to travel around, moved to New Zealand for just 3 months, just to travel, relax. I had in mind that I wanted to study a PhD, but to be honest, New Zealand was the country that I thought I would do a PhD. But once I was in New Zealand, I applied for a scholarship. Wasn't expecting to get the scholarship, but I did. So these 3 months became, I think at the moment, 8 years. So yeah, it was just getting the scholarship, the project, talking with the university. I really liked the project. So yeah, I stayed to do the PhD and then got a position inside the university. So I had 2 years of research fellow working inside the university and lecturing as well.
So just finally, what do you see as your key challenges ahead in the next year?
The main key challenge is, this is a product that we believe that it brings good or different way to provide humidification to patients. Simple, small, and it's proven that it achieves the gold standard humidification requirements. But going into a hospital is not an easy entry market. Medical devices is not an easy to entry market because we need to go through FDA, CE mark, reimbursement codes, which is a long process. It's not like being challenging because at the end, everything is very well regulated. So we just need to follow the steps that are required, but it's long. And it might take years until we finalize all this process. But that's not only the case. We need to convince the doctors, we need to convince the hospitals that this is a technology that works. So they need to change the current products to the one that we have, which is that's the reason why I mentioned we need to do clinical trials, mainly for marketing reasons. Convince the doctor look, this is an option and it's working and this provides the same humidification as the bulky device that you have at the moment. So that's the main challenges that I think it's coming over the next years.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Sandra Grau.